It was a pub for, I think, hundreds and hundreds of years. And apparently it's called the Ship first, and then the Bridge. And I think it's only about the last 10 years that it hasn't been a pub. And the building is 400 years old. So we do get a few ghosts in here, but I think they're quite friendly, so we don't mind too much. But it's supposed to be one of the most haunted buildings in Chepstow. I had a lady come in and say, oh, but don't worry, because when they someone came and measured how haunted it wasn't downstairs, it was the top flat. I said, well, that's where I live. So, but I haven't encountered anything up there. But down here, things sometimes jump off the shelves and stuff like that. So, which is a bit interesting. My name's Eva, and I have a shop called Koxy Lifestyle in Chepstow. I am originally from Denmark. I came to this country about 30 odd years ago, so quite a long time now. I used to draw for my mum. My mum was very good at sewing, and I when I was a child, I used to do drawings for her and try and explain to her what it was I wanted her to make. And then when I got to the age of around 12, 14, I got more and more frustrated with her not understanding exactly what it was I wanted. So instead of making drawings, I started getting her to teach me how to do it, to do the sewing. And I also used to do sort of lots of upcycling, like cutting things up and adding them back together and stuff like that. And anyway, I came over to the UK without an education, but that didn't stop me. I spent the first 10, 12 years of being in the UK in London, working in London's fashion industry. Eventually started doing pattern cutting, and most of those 12 years that I was there, that was my main thing, was doing the patterns. So when the designer would give me a sketch and I would make that work in reality, and eventually got a pattern cutting designing job where I was doing the designs as well. But then I decided I wanted to do my own thing. I didn't really like the fashion industry that much. It's very, very fake and very, very cutthroat, and I actually quite like community, and I like nice people, and I like chatting to people. I like being kind. I like helping people when I can. And it just really wasn't me. But I mean, I still obviously had the love for making clothes and the creativity in it. And therefore it seemed much more sense to try and do it by myself. And a year later, I had my oldest child, and suddenly London wasn't really the place I wanted to be anymore. I loved being there when I took full advantage of all the pubs and bars and cinemas and restaurants and all the cultural things that was there. But it became a very different situation once you're pushing a buggy around, and I don't drive, so it was little Mia on undergrounds and buses and stuff like that, and it just wasn't really the place I wanted to be anymore. And Mia's dad is from Bristol. I ended up moving to Bristol, but of course there wasn't a fashion industry there. And I didn't have anything really to fall back on. At the time I had been trying to sort of do big productions of clothes that I was selling in shops and stuff like that. But very quickly when I came to Bristol, I scaled everything down and made it handmade, and sort of tapped into the handmade fairs and markets and arts trails and stuff like that. And my second daughter, Molly, came along as well, so it was always a bit part-time. Where we moved to was where in Totterdown, where the first art trails were started. And that whole idea of opening up your own house and selling from your house for one weekend with everyone coming there and having a look was wonderful to me. So I did it 1 year by myself, and then I thought, well, you know, having had a look around, the better venues were the places where there was other people as well, and that you can do more if you do it together. So I started inviting a juror and, you know, an artist and various other people to come and stay in my house, and that sort of, from there on, that went into organising exhibitions and stuff like that, and bigger scale events where there could be multiple people selling their clothes. So I had quite a big group eventually in Bristol of people where we got together and did things together. And then the people at Windmere Hill City Farm told a friend of mine that they were looking for potentially letting some artists have one of their have a shop there, and she immediately she thought about me, and there was 3 of us that went together, and we set up what was meant to be like a pop-up shop, but it's been going for 10 years now, so it's been popping up for quite a long time. It is very much the gifts that sell there. And now that I have got my own shop in Chepstow, that I have made much more exactly what I want. And it works very well as a lifestyle shop. Obviously we sell gifts, but we also sell a lot of interior items, and that's what I wanted. I wanted somewhere that where the clothes could sell, and there would also be ceramics and cushions and stuff like that, so that the interior element was there very much too. I like Bristol very much, but I never really fell in love with it as such, you know. It was a good place to be. I liked the creativity there. There was so much art stuff going on, and that's really nice, and that's what I liked about it. But I was hearing about people moving to South Wales. There was a little bit of time from when COVID had hit, when everything opened up a little bit again, and then it all closed down. I took my girls with me on an outing, and we went to Chepstow, and I actually came to see if it was somewhere I wanted to live, and then I stumbled across a shop. And I just had to have a look at it, and I went back, and it took me 2 months of debating back and forwards, but and dismissing it quite a number of times, thinking, well, you can't possibly be going from Bristol to Chepstow. You don't have a car. You know, how on earth are you going to do that with everything else? But it just felt like the right place for me, so I took the plunge anyway. And of course we opened up for 2 weeks, and then we had to shut down again for 3 months. It wasn't particularly easy. It's not been a very particularly easy ride, any of it. But I'm still brimming with ideas and things that I want to do, and collaborations that I want to do. I would like to, that was, you know, if there were 3 of me, then you know, I would like to learn how to do upholstery. I would like to do jewellery as well. I would love to do weaving. I would love to make amazing rugs and stuff like that. But there is only one of me, and I'm already doing more really than I have time to do. And it can be a bit of a problem, because I just run around like a headless chicken all the time. So I think that's what I work on the most, is trying to get better at my time management, and better at saying to myself, sometimes some things just has to give sometimes. When I got the shop in Bristol, I decided, because it wasn't necessarily the best shop for clothes, that it would be a good idea to also do some accessories. And I had a bit of a fascination with Japanese vintage kimono silks, because I don't know how I'd come across it, but I felt like, because some of them had these amazing block prints on them and others had actually hand-painted motifs and stuff, and I felt like they were little works of art in themselves. So I started buying them in from Japan and thinking of what I could do with them. And initially I was doing mostly little purses and stuff like that, which I still do. But then I started making them into lampshades as well. Especially in Chepstow, that they have been really, really popular. So it is a bit sad, but the clothes is taking a bit of a back burner at the moment. I think it's sort of practically happened like that. It's not how I would like it to be forever. I would very much like to get much more back into that as well, and I would really like to start finding out how I can design my own fabrics as well. I absolutely love Chepstow. And I love being by the river. It's just such a peaceful place to be. I recently became a single parent as well. My son loves it here too. My older daughters they're slightly older, so they come and go. But so quite a lot of the time it's just me and Rufus. But we just love the setting, and just such a nice, peaceful place to be. And people are so friendly as well. I love the community, the feel to Chepstow, but that sort of makes you feel, in some ways, quite safe, I think, because everyone looks after each other.